There we are. Yo, what's up? It's Dave and Johnny live. I'm
Back-
Dave, and that's Johnny.
Back again.
We're-
Another big episode.
We're back again. I feel like I was just on a show. What happened?
You were on a show last night.
Oh, that was last night. Ringside Report. Go watch that show. Did you watch that show? I watched it. No, I didn't. I was on it. I didn't watch it.
I watched it.
Oh, there you go. See? Johnny watched it. Did you watch it? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. If you like MMA, mixed martial arts, the UFC thing, we talked about that stuff last night on Ringside Report. What did we even talk about last night? I don't remember anything.
Well, you talked about the BMF title match that happened.
Oh, yeah, the Masvidal thing.
You talked about who Conor might fight next. Probably will fight.
Cerrone, probably in January. Yeah.
And then I think you hyped Moscow, UFC Moscow.
Oh, yeah, Zabit. Saturday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. That'll be fun.
So
I like Zabit. And Greg Hardy might get smashed by Volkov.
And then you guys talked about yourselves for quite a bit.
We talked about ourselves?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, of course. It's your show. Do what you want.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed it. I liked how AJ talked about how you're like Ted Teven. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, let's move on from that. So today we got the AEW Full Gear preview. We're going to preview AEW Full Gear. I thought we were going to do it on Wrestling Uncensored, but Johnny told me that was a bad idea, so we're going to do it on Dave and Johnny Live instead.
It makes more sense because when Wrestling Uncensored airs for a lot of people, it'll be either going on or already passed. So
Right, because Wrestling Uncensored airs in different radio markets, right?
Right.
It airs in Montreal, like Saturday nights, but you're saying it's going to air probably after Full Gear?
Or during,
So to have like a Full Gear preview during the event would be kind of weird for people on the radio?
I think.
But who's listening to the radio and also watching Full Gear?
I think there will be some people. Our fan base, more than likely.
Some people, I guess. I don't know. I would just be watching Full Gear. But I guess there's Full Habs going on at the same time.
That's always the problem.
People like that. I saw you were updating me on the Canadians game last night.
Crazy game last
during
night.
the chat of the Ringside Report show. I didn't appreciate that. Who gives a damn about like what the score is? I'm trying to do a show and you're like Habs 2-1. I'm like, who cares, man? Like, neither of us cared. Like, Fred doesn't care. AJ don't care. Dave certainly doesn't care. Like,
AJ
why?
cares.
AJ doesn't care about the Canadians. He pretends to be nice to you.
What?
AJ pretends to care about everything you're interested in. That's part of AJ's charm. But AJ doesn't watch hockey. He watches MMA. He watches pro wrestling sometimes.
Yeah, I don't believe that he just pretends like that, but that's what you want to believe, sure.
I don't think AJ's a hockey fan.
No, we've watched hockey actually together before, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. Stop reminding people that there's hockey going on when I'm trying to do a YouTube show.
No, but it's good. I tell people so they don't have to watch hockey. So that's good, no?
Just don't watch hockey.
Just don't watch hockey.
I don't know. I mean, I guess in Montreal that's a bad thing to say, but...
It was a road game, too, so.
Whatever. I don't care. Did they win?
It was some drama in overtime. They lost.
Oh, that's too bad. What are you gonna do?
Well,
What are you gonna do?
Carey Price broke his stick, so everyone was up in arms. now.
Oh, he broke his stick. What happened? Did somebody like smash into him and his stick shattered into a million pieces?
No, they lost in overtime, and the goal wasn't great, so he was mad.
So how'd he break his stick? He smashed it on ice?
No, over his knee, like just.
Oh yeah, you could get hurt doing that.
He could, but he wore goalie pads, so it helps.
I guess. Wow, a lot of rage. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't know. This is a lot of talk I really could do away with quite easily. So let's talk about AEW Full Gear. I want to get right into it. We've got that to cover here on Dave and Johnny Live. On Wrestling Uncensored this week, we're going to talk about WWE stuff and maybe some other things, I guess.
Well, how bad Dark was this week. That was.
I didn't see Dark.
Oh, man, I'm glad you didn't see Dark. It was so bad.
What was on Dark?
You had a women's tag match that was just god-awful.
Okay.
And you had Nakazawa against Shawn Spears. Terrible. Bad. Like, I get why Nakazawa doesn't wrestle that much. Like, oof. It's rough.
Okay.
What was the main event? The main event was like Jurassic Express against Joey Janela and Jimmy Havoc. That was all right. It was kind of weird because Jimmy Havoc's a heel and Janela's a face, but whatever.
Is Jimmy Havoc a heel?
Yeah, he's definitely a heel.
Well, that sounds like a fun match. Janela and Havoc against Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. I'm sure that was good.
That was all right. It's okay. It's just the first 2 matches kind of really killed it, though.
I'd watch that, though. So it was Big Swole and Mercedes Martinez versus Sadie Gibbs and Allie, and you didn't like that.
Oof, so bad. They need a lot of work, the AEW women's division. From top to bottom, I think.
Riho's pretty good.
Okay.
Emi Sakura is pretty good, too.
Here's the problem with that match. And
their match, I think, is going to be really good. Let's get right into it.
All right.
AEW Full Gear. It is the first pay-per-view since AEW's been on TV. The AEW TV shows have been fantastic. The show this week was great. Like, I love the show this week. Cody's promo, the Jericho promo. It was a fantastic episode, and the wrestling matches were really good. I thought the women's tag match on Dynamite this week was dynamite. It was really good.
It was good. I wouldn't say dynamite, but it was all right. I think there was ups and downs this week from Dynamite. I mean, not the best Dynamite they've had, but it was all right.
It was pretty good.
There were good moments, and there were some moments where it was like, what the hell's going on?
Private Party beating the Dark Order. I thought that match was good.
I was very surprised. I thought Dark Order was definitely going to win that match, so that's nice when you surprise me like that.
There you go.
But
Pac versus Trent, I thought the match was good. A little bit of a weird finish.
Well, botch finish. They screwed it up.
What happened?
Well,
they were supposed to do a submission?
I think there was supposed to be a pin, and then he's like, well, you're supposed to kick out, I guess, but he forgot to kick out or whatever, so it just looked bad because he never kicked out.
It was really weird. Like, Pac does this, what's the move called? The Black Arrow?
Yeah.
He used to be called the Red Arrow in WWE when he was Neville. So he's off the top rope, and he does this spinny splash move onto Trent, and it's 1, 2, and he's still down, and the ref's like, no, all confused, and then there's a little talking, and then Pac grabs Trent and puts him in his submission move, and then Trent taps, and the match ends. It was unfortunate because the rest of the match was very good. Like,
right.
That match was great, and the finish was just kind of like, what happened? So I guess he was supposed to kick out and then put the submission on, but like at that point, if you're the ref, why not just count to 3?
Yeah, he should have just done that, but I guess they really want to put over this submission that it's like it's definitely over because it beat so many guys so far. It beat Hangman, it beat Kenny Omega, so they're really trying to get the submission over as much as possible.
I don't know. I thought the match was good, though. You know, it was a weird finish, but Pac is going to wrestle Hangman at Full Gear. And, of course, that wasn't the last of Pac that we will see. Cody Rhodes promo right after that, fantastic, talking about the Inner Circle and how they wanted the Inner Circle to exist so that they could match up with the Elite. He talks about Eddie Graham and Cowboy Bill Watts and Dusty Rhodes as great wrestlers who were also in management, kind of put themselves over to some people's, opinion, right? And Cody said he didn't want to be that type of guy, even though they were great. He doesn't want to be seen as the guy who runs the show and is also always putting himself in the main event. So he says if he does not defeat Chris Jericho at Full Gear, he will never wrestle again for the AEW Championship, which I think he's going to not win, but eventually he'll be coaxed into wrestling for the AEW title just, in a while. It'll be a storyline, right?
Well, it's kind of too bad because NWA, I don't know if you've been watching NWA, they've had a storyline very recently like this, and it's kind of playing out where the guy lost, and it's like, oh, what do I do now kind of thing.
Who was it?
It was Tim Storm against Magnus.
Yeah, but Tim Storm doesn't run AEW. Like, it's a different type of thing. It's a different layer when Cody is telling you, I don't want to be like so many other promoters who've made themselves a champion ahead of other people.
Well, here's another thing, too, and they haven't stated this, and it's kind of like a way out for them. It's like, okay, he loses, he doesn't get another title shot, but is this as long as Jericho is champion? Does this, get forgotten about once Jericho loses the title?
It's unclear.
It's unclear on purpose, so that way they have a way out of this. Because I think Cody's more likely going to lose, but it definitely add more interest into the match. And, in wrestling, you can always take things back. Retirements, you can always come back and wrestle. With this, he could win a match and he gets a title shot again.
Yeah.
There's always a way out of it. This is just to help sell pay-per-view, which I think is doing a good job because a lot of people are talking about it. The Rock tweeted about it. So
did he?
Yeah. He loved the promo.
It was a great promo. And you add that layer of Cody putting something on the line for this match, right? It makes it a bigger thing because Cody is putting his championship aspirations on the line. If he doesn't win, never challenges again for the belt. We don't really think that's going to hold over time, but for now, it's a good story, right? And Jericho, of course, Le Champion, the undefeated 6-0 Chris Jericho, will be defending his AEW World Championship, and Jericho's promo was different type of promo. You know, Cody's was very serious and very real, and it came from the heart, and he talked about Jericho and how Jericho keeps calling him an entitled millennial, and he has a silver spoon, and he says, you know, Jericho, your dad was a famous hockey player. You had the same silver spoon that I had. Like, it was a really good and emotional promo saying Jericho needs this generation more than it needs him. Like, he was cutting deep. It was really good stuff. You know?
Very truthful.
Yeah, there was some truth. There was some passion, and it made you more interested in this match, right? Did a great job. Fantastic. Masterful work from Cody. And then Jericho, it's just this hilarious video package kind of mocking the Cody Rhodes video package from a couple weeks ago, you know, where Brandy's talking to Cody, but Cody doesn't hear her, you know, the audio goes out. So it's similar here where Sammy Guevara's talking to Jericho, trying to figure out which bubbly they're going to drink or sell or whatever.
Right.
And Jericho's not listening, and then he just gets up and he's like, yeah, sure, sounds good. And he kisses Sammy Guevara.
Because that's what
Because that's what Cody did to Brandy. Like, it's so funny. Jericho's sitting in a bathtub, you know, a bubble bath, and he's got the bubbly, he's drinking champagne, looking all sad, wearing sunglasses. It was hilarious. Virgil was there. They hired some old lady to be Jericho's aunt's best friend who grew up knowing Chris Jericho and saying Jericho's going to beat up Cody Rhodes. Like, it was great. Virgil, man. The Virgil. They called him, what did they call him?
I forget. It was like Slick something or...
Yeah, they had some sort of other name for Virgil, but we all know it was Virgil, right? And he was there. He said, I knew Jericho since he was 12 years old, and he's got the heart of a champion or whatever he was saying. It was great. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I retweeted it. You can follow me at Dave Simon MMA and check it out. It was great, right? It was really good stuff from Jericho and from Cody. Like, both promos, albeit different tones, both did a great job selling the match. Jericho kind of, you know, part of his character not taking Cody seriously. He's the champion. He's so arrogant that he could put out this promo the week of the match, just kind of mocking Cody and mocking everything he stands for, while Cody, very serious, he wants to rip Jericho's head off. You know, it's a cool meshing of the two characters into this one match, and it's great. And they did a great job of selling it at the end of the show when it was Jericho and Sammy Guevara against Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, and then Jake Hager shows up, and the Bastard Pac hit a low blow on Hangman, which allowed Jericho to hit the Judas effect on Hangman and win the match. But then it was a massive brawl, right? Everybody shows up, and they do a good job of selling the pay-per-view because they had everybody match up. The Inner Circle guys, they start beating up on Hangman, and then Cody makes the save, and he attacks Jericho. Then Jericho and Jake Hager look like they're going to escape, but MJF shows up with a chair and hits them both. Of course, MJF, Cody Rhodes' best friend. Then Jon Moxley shows up because Kenny Omega was in the tag match, and Kenny, stumbles into the ring after taking a beating. So Moxley shows up. He's got a face-off with Kenny, does a little bit of brawling. Jericho and Hager continue to brawl with MJF and Cody. I've got notes here in front of me because a lot was going on. You know, it's a lot
of craziness.
There's a lot to keep track of, you know? And then Santana and Ortiz show up. They're, of course, in the Inner Circle with Chris Jericho, and they attack Omega and Moxley. And then the Young Bucks show up to make the save, to kind of save Omega and Moxley, which is weird, right? Like Santana and Ortiz, they're feuding with the Bucks, but of course Omega's with the Elite, so they attack him. But then Moxley, why are they attacking Moxley?
Well, he's just there. Why not?
Just because he's there. The Young Bucks show up. They make the save. Super kicks all around. The Bucks and the LAX guys, they brawl. And then Kenny and Moxley help take out, they're together, and they help the Bucks take out Santana and Ortiz. So Kenny and Moxley kind of team up, and then they look at each other and they're like, okay, now we fight. And then they keep fighting. And then Nick Jackson dives off the top of the entrance ramp onto everybody. on MJF and Jericho and all the heels. I like that, it was the Inner Circle guys and MJF that took the Nick Jackson dive. But then afterwards, when the Inner Circle guys go into the ring, MJF is like standing with the Young Bucks like, hey, man, we're all cool, right? Like MJF took that dive, but, that happens in wrestling. Sometimes the guys on your team will also absorb the blow on a big giant dive from the top rope when like 6 guys go down, right?
Well, you say Jericho took that. Jericho barely took anything. He more just like stumbled and then decided to fall into the cameraman and take him down just to make it seem more dramatic than it was.
It was pretty cool, though.
It was fine, but he really didn't get hit whatsoever.
Well, who took it then?
It was pretty much everyone else.
Who did Nick Jackson land on? Santana, Ortiz, Hager, and MJF?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, well, Le Champion doesn't need to take that, okay? He's Le Champion. A little bit of the bubbly. Are we going to get some champagne tomorrow night for the AEW Full Gear watch-along post-show? Yeah, we're doing it. We're going to be here on YouTube tomorrow night, AEW Full Gear watch-along post-show towards, the middle of the pay-per-view. We're going to jump on YouTube. We'll give you a fair warning. If you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and you'll be able to get the notifications right when we come on. And we'll also tweet out links on our social medias and all that kind of stuff. But tomorrow, AEW Full Gear, about, I'd say around 9:30, we're going to jump on YouTube, and we'll talk about the show, and we'll be watching the show, and we'll see Jericho and Cody in the main event. Who do you have winning?
Well, I have Jericho. The only thing now is, will it go the 60 minutes? Because remember, there's the stipulation that's added to this match.
Right.
They have the tiebreaker rule, which they've kind of ignored now with all the other stipulations they've added. And I think maybe they're trying to distract people, or they might actually use the tiebreaker.
So if this match goes 60 minutes, it will be broken. The tie will be broken by 3 ringside judges, whoever they might be.
Well, yeah, they haven't said who they are going to be exactly. I guess Cody's probably going to have one in his favor, like DDP or something.
Well, that wouldn't be fair. No, he attacked Jericho. That you can't have DDP.
He didn't attack him this week.
You could have maybe Dean Malenko and Jerry Lynn and Arn Anderson.
Dean Malenko, I think, would favor Jericho, no? Because they're kind of buddies.
You know what would be cool? Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and somebody else.
Yeah,
Bret Hart.
That's not gonna. They're just in WWE. Maybe Bret, sure, but that not Hogan and Flair. I don't think so.
Maybe Flair.
Okay, maybe Flair.
Maybe
Flair for the money, of course.
That's right. Flair will do anything for the money. I could see Flair there, and that'd be crazy because WWE, they're still talking about Flair. Team Flair is still a thing. Did you see that?
It's
on
probably
Raw?
gonna be a thing on Survivor Series. I think Team Hogan, Team Flair.
But
I know it's stupid, but they have nothing else.
We'll talk about it on Wrestling Uncensored. We'll save that for the other show. That was crazy.
Thankfully, no Survivor Series matches on this show. I'm glad it's mainly single matches.
Oh, yeah. This show's going to be good, man. This show's going to be really good. I think Jericho and Cody's going to be an excellent match. I don't think it's going to go the full 60 minutes. I think Jericho will wind up beating Cody in a great match. It might go 45, but I don't think Jericho can really, he's 48.
The youngest AEW World Champion, they keep saying.
He just turned 48, by the way. Wait a second. You know what? Wow. His birthday is tomorrow at AEW Full Gear. So Le Champion will be celebrating his birthday and a title defense at 49 years of age with a little bit of the bubbly. It will be Jericho's birthday at Full Gear.
Yeah, he's definitely going to win now.
Happy birthday, Le Champion! I love this Chris Jericho character. It's fantastic.
Now, here's another question. Is this going to be the main event, though?
Yeah, of course.
Because traditionally,
lights out.
That's traditionally the last match, no?
It is Kenny. Kenny is magical. Kenny Omega, there's something about him. He makes me smile. I love that guy.
I don't think he's going to win, though. I think Moxley's going to win this one.
What about Jericho Cody? You think it's going to go the full 60? Give me a prediction on that before I move on to Mox and Kenny.
Yeah, I feel like it might go the full 60. I think Jericho's still going to win, but I think it might go the full 60.
A 49-year-old guy's going to go 60 minutes on his birthday? I mean, that would be pretty badass, right?
Well, he doesn't wrestle all the time, so why not?
60 minutes is a long time. So they go a 60-minute draw, and then he wins by judge's decision? Yeah. Jericho does?
Some shenanigans with that, perhaps. They could
paid off the judges.
Yeah, why not?
I think Jericho's just going to beat Cody with the Judas effect, maybe some help from Jake Hager, pin him 1, 2, 3, retain the title. Shady circumstances perhaps, but I think that's how you do it.
I really hope no DQ. That would be horrific if that would happen.
Happy birthday, Chris Jericho. They're not going to do a DQ. Come on.
They shouldn't.
They're smart. AEW is smart.
That's true. We haven't seen a lot of DQs at all in AEW, I don't believe at all. So
No one wants to see a match ended that way.
Though some matches should have ended in a DQ, especially that 6-man tag they had where Moxley interfered.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're like, no DQ? What's the deal? But whatever.
Oh, we complain a lot about the referees. It feels like the refs are really bad, especially this week on Dynamite. Like, what the hell was the ref in the Pac match? Did you see that? Like, when the Chuck Taylor's trying to get in the ring?
Yeah.
And the ref was like this? Like, what the hell was that?
I don't know. Well, Asuka kicked a ref to stop a count on Raw this week, and nothing seemed to happen. Did you see that?
I missed that. In
the tag match, it was her and Kairi Sane against Charlotte and Natty.
Yeah.
And, like, at one point, Natty or Charlotte I think Charlotte hit the natural selection, kind of, on Kairi Sane.
Oh, that was botched.
It was botched terribly. Yeah. And then Asuka, I guess, was meant to roll in and stop the count, but she was a bit late. So she just rolls in kind of onto the ref and kind of her feet land on him, and that's what stopped the count. It was very strange. It seemed like a DQ was about to happen, but then the match went on because it was obviously not the way it was supposed to go.
Could argue that was an accident. I mean,
well, yeah.
It kind of was an accident, so that's it. I mean, if
but
it was
still, an accidental contact with the referee that causes the count to stop, is that not grounds for disqualification? Or are we getting too technical with the rules of professional wrestling?
Yeah, rules in wrestling.
Nitpicking, a little nonsense. I don't think it really matters.
Oh, there's AJ on the chat. That's
AJ's
cool.
on the chat. What's up, AJ? We love you, big guy. All right, back to AEW. AJ's just celebrating by himself. He's loving it. So Jericho, Cody, either way you slice it, Johnny and I both think Chris Jericho will retain the championship in this match.
Yeah, Cody doesn't need to be champion. I think he knows that too.
How about that? Wrestling on his birthday, defending the title. Pretty cool. Le Champion. What do you think about AEW running pay-per-views on Saturdays?
I like it.
I don't.
What?
I like wrestling pay-per-views on Sundays, brother.
No. Because then you have to get up Monday morning. No, it's terrible. It's actually better Saturday because then Sunday you get to sleep in.
Okay. I'm not going to argue that much about it. UFC does Saturday nights. It's not a terrible thing, but
they're not doing it this Saturday, so that's good.
Well, UFC's doing an afternoon show in Russia on Saturday, right?
So it works.
Yeah, AEW's got the night to themselves as far as I know. Although, isn't that Logan Paul thing?
Well, if you like that stuff, sure.
If you like that
there's always something on if you think about it.
Yeah, whatever. Moxley and Kenny Omega, non-sanctioned, lights out match, so I assume anything goes, no DQ in this?
Of course. But that's another thing, too. It doesn't count for the win-loss record, so Kenny can lose his match, and it doesn't matter.
A lot of guys, like, you see their records, and they're not too good, you know?
Kenny's not a great record. I think Moxley actually has a very good record.
Does he?
I don't believe Moxley's lost the match yet.
Jericho's undefeated.
Yeah, Jericho's very good, which he should be. He's the champion. So.
I like that they're showing the records because, Sammy Guevara comes out, he's 2-3, and then Jericho comes out, he's 5-0, and it's like, oh, look at that, 5-0. It's impressive, You're like, oh, yeah. It lets you know who's a winner and who's a loser in the wrestling company. It's cool.
Well,
I love the records that are being kept on AEW and that they show it every time they come out. I hope that stays forever.
A lot of them are kind of middle of the pack, kind of like 500, a little under 500, or just above. So,
yeah, it shows like pretty much everybody's around even. Like Kenny Omega even is like, 5-3 or something. Maybe 5-4 at this point because he lost his tag match.
Well, that's another thing too, because there's the overall record, there's the singles records, there's the tag records. So
yeah,
it depends what you're talking about. But that's fun too.
And they're keeping track.
Yeah,
and they're letting us know
that it means something. So
it feels like a sport, and it gives you a reason to care about every match because the records mean something.
It's just too bad with some people like Nakazawa, like he's 1-0, so it's like, well, why wasn't he featured more if he was undefeated?
Right.
Some people got lost in the shuffle, unfortunately.
Well, because he's Michael Nakazawa.
Okay, fine.
Because you don't really think of him as like a, It does suck, though, when you see Brandon Cutler come out and he's 0-2, and you're like, oh. And he was wrestling, who did he wrestle this week? Sean Spears, right?
Right.
You're like, well, you know what's going to happen here, you know? Then he's 0-3, and you believe less and less that he's going to win in the future.
I feel like they didn't announce it, but you kind of had the feeling Sean Spears was getting a pay-per-view match, which he has. So it's like, well, clearly this is just an enhancement match, which I found a lot of Dynamite was this week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Except the main event in the first match. But even the first match, you could even debate that it was because Trent. When does Trent wrestle a singles match?
Yeah, but he's still part of the best friends, and he's featured, you know. And
right.
Trent against Pac is a pretty sweet match, you know.
Of course,
like you look at it and you're like, yeah, this is good. You expect Pac to win, but it was still like, I don't know. But the Private Party Dark Order match, that meant something. That wasn't a enhancement match in any kind of way.
Well, I thought Dark Order would win, so yeah, of course.
Right?
That was good.
And even the main event, Jericho and Sammy against Kenny and Hangman, that wasn't a enhancement match.
No, that's the main event. But like you said, Jericho's undefeated. He shouldn't lose.
Even the women's tag team match, Emi Sakura and Jamie Hayter against Riho and Shanna, and Sakura pinning Riho, that wasn't enhancement. That was just a build towards their match. It shows that Sakura can pin Riho, and, you know, will she do it at the pay-per-view and become champion?
Well, that was like a necessity because why are they having this match? Well, she beat the champion. Okay, now it makes sense. So they needed to do that.
No, Sakura won a number one contenders match, didn't she?
Okay, sure, fine. Yeah, on Dark. Yeah.
It still counts. The records are there, too.
Right. But, like, not a lot of people saw it. It wasn't like a big storyline thing until now this week, so it's a little disappointing. Like I said, the women's division needs a lot of work because, like, besides maybe Britt Baker, they don't really focus on a lot of the women.
I think Riho is over.
She's over, but, like, we don't know much about her.
She's great at wrestling. She's got video game type music. She's Japanese. She's 23. I don't know. That's all I know.
Well, that's it. We don't know, like, why she's there. Like, obviously to be
she's friends with Kenny Omega.
Okay, that's a huge reason why she's there, obviously. But, like, what's she like outside of the ring? Like, what's her personality like? Is she a good person? I mean, she smiles all the time, but is she a good person?
I want to see Riho on Being the Elite.
I question if a lot of them are good at promos because I'm guessing that might be the problem.
Well, I don't know if she speaks English at all.
Okay. But you can have a translator. I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah. Subtitles or whatever. Okay, Moxley and Omega. Non-sanctioned lights out match. I think Kenny wins.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's Kenny. He's the best. Jericho's going to beat Cody. You're going to need somebody to go up against Jericho down the road. Kenny's a good contender. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, Moxley makes sense too. I'm not really sure. Like, you're pretty convinced that it's going to be Moxley?
Well, because
I'm not convinced. Like, I could see Kenny winning too. It's Kenny Omega, man.
Because it doesn't count for the win-loss record. So you're going to have Moxley finally lose, and it's not really going to count. I think it's kind of ridiculous. Where Kenny, he's kind of been there, done that, where it's like they're trying to build him up again, but he seems to always lose the big ones. So this would just fall into what we've been seeing with Kenny.
Yeah, but is that what you want to do with Kenny? Like, have him continue to lose these big matches? He's losing all the time on pay-per-view. Okay. Right? Like, he lost to Jericho. He lost to... Like, if you go back on all the AEW pay-per-views, like, what's Kenny's record on pay-per-view? All Out, he lost, right?
Well, he didn't wrestle John Moxley.
No, he wrestled Pac.
And lost.
And lost at All Out. Kenny's match at Fight for the Fallen.
I think he won that one.
Yeah, he beat Shima, but, like, you know, Shima is not a main eventer. At Fyter Fest, it was a tag team match that he did win with the Bucks, beating the Luchas and the Laredo Kid, but that was like his show.
Mm-hmm.
But at Double or Nothing, you know, which was a big one, he lost to Chris Jericho.
So Jericho can go on and win the title, so it made sense.
But Jericho, Pac, they're beating Kenny Omega on pay-per-view. Like, Kenny's big singles matches that he's had so far, he's lost. It would make sense for him to lose this one too, I guess, eh?
You could easily have Moxley go on and face Jericho, because Moxley's still a face too, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. He kind of is. Because he was helping Kenny take out Santana and Ortiz, so he's against the Inner Circle. He's not with them, right?
And Kenny's doing a bunch of weird stuff. Like, he did that weird promo thing last week, and it's like, well, what's he doing?
I love the Kenny Omega character. It's great stuff.
Okay, but like he's doing something. There's something up with him, and I think him losing, I guess he's gonna snap or something. Maybe even turn on the Elite.
Maybe.
I think this is leading to him losing all the time.
Okay, so you've convinced me. You know
Okay,
what?
wow.
I was on the fence. You've convinced me. I think Moxley's gonna win.
But
now.
again, this doesn't count for the win-loss record, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, okay.
That's true. But Moxley has been saying that he's mad about that because when he beats Kenny Omega, he wants it to count. So it would make sense for Moxley to win here, right? Okay.
Well, I hope it's going to be a very good match. I mean, they're promising this is going to be like beyond violence. So
It's the brilliance of Johnny North. He's convinced me. All right.
I'm good at doing that.
And I'm, confident enough to change my mind once in a while, right? I'm not scared to change my mind. I'm going with John Moxley, the Mox. He's got some moxie, that kid.
Will be the main event, though. I don't know because it's kind of weird if it was the main event after you see the world title match and all the emotion that's been built into that.
Yeah.
And then but the thing is too, like you have something that's so violent, and then you go into the title match, so it's weird because remember we had the problem last time at the pay-per-view where you had that crazy Bucks and Lucha Brothers match, and then you have the title match, and people thought Bucks and Lucha Brothers should have been last. So it's weird. I don't know what they're going to do with this one.
So, I think you're right, though. I think you're probably right. I think it'll main event.
Well, just because it's lights out, right? So it's like
Yeah.
the show's over. Like now you have this because it's not sanctioned. So
You're really on the ball with this here, John. Like, I was thinking Jericho and Cody would main event, but you come in and you're like, lights out match. It'll probably be the last one. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right.
well,
And then you're like, oh, no, Moxley's going to win because Kenny loses all his matches on pay-per-view. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Totally convincing me here, John.
well, I was wrong though about the Crown Jewel. It was actually Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins, the main event, not Team Hogan, Team Flair. So I'm not always right, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, WWE's super weird. But that was a big surprise that they were doing there with that match, right?
So maybe AEW. I hope AEW has a big surprise for this pay-per-view because it's their last pay-per-view of the year. So hopefully they end it on a really high note.
Any guesses?
I think Eric Bischoff would be a great surprise, in my opinion.
To help Jericho beat Cody?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty funny. Jericho, man. How about Bischoff and Hogan helping Jericho beat Cody?
Okay, no Hogan.
Hogan!
No Flair.
No Hogan?
No Flair.
Why no Hogan?
Hogan wants to be in WWE. He wants
Come on,
his
brother.
WrestleMania match.
Yeah, I guess. Well, maybe AEW will give it to him.
Though I do agree, AEW would be great if they had more legends. Like with the Rock and Roll Express, I think that was a great use of them. They should do more things like that. But you don't have to kill legends all the time, too, though.
I like that Tully Blanchard is just Sean Spears' manager. He's good.
He was great in that promo they did on Dark. Very good.
This week they did a promo?
Well, they did a promo where they wanted to rip out his tongue. They talked about
Joey
it.
Janela's tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Intensity. Joey Janela, Sean Spears, one-on-one. I think the match will be a lot of fun. I'm going to go with Sean Spears.
Me too.
Joey Janela in kind of one-on-one matches, I think it favors the other guy. In a hardcore type match, it's Janela's territory, but I feel like this is built for Sean Spears to win, right? It seems like...
You're exactly right.
Okay. SCU, SoCal Uncensored, the tag team champions, defending in a three-way tag team match, which should be awesome. Lucha Brothers and the Private Party in this match.
Well, this will be all-out craziness, of course. The usual kind of tag matches you see weekly on AEW. This could go really any of the ways here. You could easily see Private Party winning Lucha Brothers just because it's nonstop action pretty much from start to finish. I'm going to go with SCU just because I feel because they're the first tag team champions, they should last for quite a bit of time, I think.
They just won the belts like 2 weeks ago. You really
Right.
think they're going to move them around now? I don't think so.
It's
I think
not possible.
SCU retains.
Because I feel that Lucha Brothers were going to win the titles eventually, so you could easily give it to them at the pay-per-view. However, because the first-time champs, I'd have it a little bit longer than the first defense. But I wouldn't be surprised if they change it.
Maybe you're right. I mean,
I love
again,
I'm
you got
right a
me,
lot.
man. You're killing me on this show.
I'm going with SCU, though.
Well, because I'm looking at the card, right? And it's like, well, there's 2 titles on the line, or 3 titles on the line.
Right.
I don't think Jericho's going to lose his title.
Yeah.
I don't think Riho's going to lose her title.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
if any title change is going to happen, it'd be the tag titles. And maybe they just gave him to SCU so that they could drop him to the Lucha Brothers on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I feel like they could easily do that. I just hope it's not this soon. Maybe down the road they do, but they could easily.
Why not?
Because
then what? No title changes on a pay-per-view?
That's rough.
You know, you want stuff to happen on a pay-per-view. You'd expect at least a title change.
Right. I mean, if like you said, if there's going to be a title change, it's going to be in this match.
I think Lucha Brothers are going to win the tag team titles here.
Not a bad prediction, but I'm going still with SCU because I just feel like they should retain.
Riho taking on Emi Sakura. I really enjoyed what I saw from those two in the ring, kind of trading pinfalls back and forth. I'm looking forward to this match for the AEW Women's Championship. Riho's the first champion. She just won, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago
Right.
on TV. I don't think she's going to lose here. I think the match will be a lot of fun. I'm going with Riho for the victory.
Yeah, I go with Rio too. I mean, this was going to be a good wrestling match. It's just in terms of the story, I don't really care that much. I mean, okay, it's teacher versus student, but besides that, there's not much else on the line here. Where it's just really the student's going to prove that she's better than the teacher now. Okay, that's fine, but I'm not like, wow, I can't wait for this.
Well, what if they tear the house down with an incredible match?
I imagine it'll be very good wrestling. I'd be disappointed if it's not very good wrestling, but it takes away when I'm not invested in the story.
Might be one of the better matches on this card. I think the match is going to be really good. I liked what I saw from them. Again, in that tag match on Dynamite this week, I thought they worked really well together. I think they're going to do some cool stuff. Hangman Page taking on the Bastard Pac. I like how they announce him as the Bastard Pac. You know, Justin Roberts doing the whole deal. It's good. And he's, got that evil face. He looks so evil. He looks super mean when he's doing his thing. Tremendous wrestler. Hangman Page, what can you say? The guy is one of the future top stars of the wrestling business. And I think we can even stop saying that. The guy is one of the current top stars of the wrestling business. He's got a big pay-per-view match here against the Bastard Pac. I think the Bastard will beat him. I think the Bastard will beat the Hangman. The match should be tremendous. These guys have great matches. It's 1-1 in their series. I think Pac will probably move on. I see Pac as one of the top champions, the top title contenders in the division. And if Jericho's not the heel champion, I think Pac will be the next heel champion in AEW whenever that happens. I think that Jericho will have a little run. They'll give it to a babyface, and that babyface will lose to the Bastard Pac.
Well, I'm hoping they do a triple threat match, actually. I'd love to see Jericho Pac against Moxley. I think that'd be an amazing main event for the next pay-per-view. Hopefully they do that. Yeah, I think Pac's going to win this because, again, it just builds him up to be a contender. And Adam Page, like you say 1-1, but like one of those matches wasn't in AEW.
It was in England.
So, like, really it's 1-0.
Well, on AEW TV, they're saying 1-1.
In their careers, yeah, okay, it's 1-1, but AEW, it's 1-0, and it's going to be 2-0.
I agree.
So that's kind of rough for Adam Page, though. I mean, you went from being world title contender to kind of losing all the big ones like Kenny Omega. It's kind of disappointing in a sense. But I'm also concerned in the sense where we've seen this twice. How are they going to be able to outdo themselves?
Yeah. It's maybe it's one of the matches that I'm not looking forward to it that much. There's other stuff on this card that I'm looking forward to more because I've seen this one before, right?
Well, then I feel like they're going to really try hard to outdo themselves. Pac was amazing this week. The way he's moving around that ring is like fantastic. It's like it's effortless for him just to flip outside the ring. He's like he's walking the whole time, but he's not walking. He's just moving fast.
He's really incredible. They're both great wrestlers. Like, the match I know will be really good, but it's just like, yeah, there's nothing really on the line other than their records. And I've seen it before. And there's other matches on this card that I'm like, whoa, Moxley and Omega, Jericho and Cody. And here, this Young Bucks against Santana Ortiz, I think is a really big one. Haven't seen this one before. Should be a lot of fun. I think, tough one to call here. Who wins, Santana and Ortiz or the Young Bucks? You make the call.
This is tough because you're going with Inner Circle against the Elite. And if you have Jericho go over Cody, I would think the Bucks would go over Santana and Ortiz, no?
You call him Santina and Ortiz.
Oh, Santina. Santana.
Santina Marella.
Santana and Ortiz.
I wish it was Santina and Ortiz. I wish it was Santina, and Ortiz. Can we get that happening?
Be a little more ridiculous of a match.
Where's Santino when you need him? Can AEW hire Santino to wrestle?
I think it'd be great, but I think the problem is probably his links with WWE. He doesn't want to ruin that for his students, so that's probably why he's not in AEW.
Too bad. Santina and Ortiz against the Bucks. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Well, again, because Jericho's probably gonna win, and the Elite to kind of even this, I think the Bucks win this match.
Super kick.
Party.
There you go. Thank you. God, that was a delayed reaction. All right, so that's the pay-per-view. The pre-show will be B. Priestley versus Britt Baker. They've got quite a rivalry going. And AEW, you know, they heard from fans the last pay-per-view was too long, and it was, right?
Yes.
Way too long. This one's going to be shorter. One pre-show match instead of two.
Okay, the pre-show wasn't really the huge problem.
Well, there was two matches, and this pay-per-view, it's supposed to be like 3.5 hours as opposed to like 5.
Which is better, okay.
Yeah, the pay-per-view will be 3.5 hours, they're saying. So from 8 to like 11:30.
Well, the pre-show is only an hour, so like you can really put in 2 matches if you want. But I guess maybe they want to talk more about the pay-per-view. Fine, whatever. It's more about the pay-per-view not going to midnight. That was the huge problem.
Yeah, it better not go to midnight. Too long. Too late.
Pre-show's an hour, so just get your stuff in. And for one match, that's fine. They kind of been hyping this sort of. Like this has been going on, but it's not really that big of a deal, I find. But they're having this match. Okay. I'm not really excited for this. I don't know if it's going to be that great, but we'll see. I'm just being honest with you about this. Again, like the women's division, I'm not really like super excited for it because they don't put over a lot of these girls. Like, why should I care for them? Like, they haven't really introduced them very well.
Well, because B. Priestley cost Britt Baker a title shot.
Like, when was this? This is like so long ago. This is like before TV.
Was it?
I feel like it was.
I don't remember when it was, but I know that it happened at some point. I'm hazy on the details as well.
Exactly. Well,
I know they don't like each other. I know they have a rivalry, and this is the match to culminate that rivalry.
Well, the rivalry is because of a kick, an errant kick that she gave her or something to the back of the head in a tag match, and like this is why they don't like each other? Wow.
But I like Britt Baker and B. Priestley. I think they're both good.
Yeah, I think Priestley's good, but we haven't really seen her much, unfortunately. Like, besides wrestling Britt Baker, what else does she do?
Well, here's your opportunity, one-on-one with Britt Baker.
I don't. We've seen this actually before. Them tag matches,
not one-on-one. This is the match to settle the rivalry. I'm going with B. Priestley.
Really? Okay, I'm going.
Yeah, why not?
I'm going with Baker because they push her. Like, if it wasn't for Rio, she'd be the champion. I think.
Yeah,
they push her like crazy.
But Riho's there. She's not the champion. You need other opponents for Riho. I'm going with B. Priestley to win, and then maybe she's next for Riho.
It would make a lot of sense, but
you need to push some heels, right? You're talking about making the division and building it up. You need to put some heels in there if you have a babyface champion. And I think they have a strong babyface champion in Riho. They're not going to switch it to Sakura right now. So Riho's going to stay on as champion. She's going to need some other heel opponents. And you look around at the division, other than Brandy, obviously, right?
Well, I don't know what hell's going on with Brandy. It's kind of weird stuff.
Brandy's evil. Brandy's like Kane or something. I don't know. But other than Brandy, you need somebody, and B. Priestley fits the bill.
Well, I think Brandy's probably going to face Rio eventually.
Yeah, seems like they're headed towards that. But Brandy had this weird vignette thing on Dynamite.
Well, 2 of them now, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, with Awesome Kong kind of spliced in there. It was not as good as Cody's promo.
Well, at least they're trying something with her. Like, she's not just going to be Cody's wife.
Yeah, no, but she's evil.
Right. Well, at least it's something.
Yeah. But the promo was kind of like,
I'd like to believe
it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like great.
But they must have an end game to this. They must have like a solution to this. No, in the end, like
I will say I'm interested.
Well, I want to know where it's going.
I want to know where it's going. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm interested, but like I want to know what's going to happen.
That's the same thing.
Like if I'm interested, I'm like, wow, this is really good. This is interesting. Like, then it's like, just get it over with.
You're intrigued, but not interested, perhaps.
Just get it over with, really, to be honest.
All right. Well, I want to say what's up. I see Antoinette there in the chat. I see AJ there. Danny Bruck in the chat.
He likes Hogan for some reason, AJ.
AJ likes Hulk Hogan? Who doesn't like Hulk Hogan, brother?
No go Leafs, no.
Saying that Drew Onyx should have been disqualified when he attacked you in that match.
It was anything goes match, so there's no DQs.
Yeah. AJ doesn't understand professional wrestling, but that's okay.
It's all right.
So
I lost.
that's the Dave and Johnny Live AEW Full Gear Preview. We will be back here, well, of course, for Wrestling Uncensored, which you can catch tomorrow morning. We'll cover some WWE things that are happening, right? Rusev Day and so on, NXT invasions going on, right?
Right.
We're going to get to that tomorrow. You can watch that on the YouTube channel right here. Like and subscribe to the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, all those things, right? And then tomorrow night, Full Gear.
Okay, yeah.
What do you mean, okay, yeah?
There's also my movie review. I watched a movie like this week.
What? I thought Dave and Johnny Live was over. I was promoting the rest of the stuff.
No, I saw a movie last Christmas. Like, I'm going to talk about that, no?
Okay.
You have to put the whole thing up, no?
I don't know.
Talking film?
No.
No, there's no.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. Fine.
You see that something happened, but like it didn't do anything. Oh, wait. No, that's not it.
No, it's not 90 days, no.
Nope, that's not it. Nope, it's not working.
Well, anyways, we'll talk about it if you want me to talk about it. Last
Okay,
Christmas.
you saw a movie called Last Christmas. This is a Johnny North movie review. We haven't had this on Dave and Johnny Live in quite some time.
I guess. I guess tech support doesn't remember that we do this, I guess.
Oh, that's okay. Something happened. I don't know.
But it's fine. It was a romantic comedy, actually, which is kind of weird. Like, I usually don't watch these kind of movies, but the Mother of Dragons is in this movie, so I'm like, well, I'll give it a shot.
What?
You don't know who the Mother of Dragons is because you don't watch Game of Thrones, but Emilia Clarke.
What?
Is
who?
She used to play Daenerys in Game of Thrones, so she's in this movie. She stars as Kate in this movie. She's kind of a mess up and has problems with her family, has problems with her job, and she meets this guy, Henry Golding is his real name in the show. Or
in the movie? It's his acting name?
No, the movie is Tom.
Okay, the acting name is called Henry? Is this a Canadian movie?
I don't think so. It's actually in London.
Oh, okay.
So I think maybe Wally and Andy might like it more than I did, but it was different from what I usually watch, as you can obviously are looking at right now.
Looks terrible.
It was different, though. Like, 'cause usually Christmas movies are all these happy.
This is a romantic comedy Christmas movie? Why did
Yeah.
you go see this? What is the matter with you? This looks awful.
Well, because usually Christmas movies are all happy and go lucky, but this wasn't that happy. I mean, she's very depressed, and like it's a lot about her overcoming her depression. So I thought it was actually more of a serious drama, more than just a romantic comedy. I think they kind of hit it like that.
Okay.
So and her
got
family
48% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not a good review.
Well, screw Rotten Tomatoes. The family issues, I can relate to a lot of that, or problems with that. You know, problems with siblings, problems with the mom and dad.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, you know, it isn't easy sometimes getting along with your family. Maybe it's okay for you, I don't know, but sometimes, you know, you don't get along. Sometimes you have problems.
Are we going to talk about those problems now? Like, what's happening right now?
No, I'm just saying that's in the movie. I mean, we don't have to talk about that if you don't want to talk about that.
Well, if you want to, we're open here. This is your show, Johnny. It's Dave and Johnny Live, so.
Okay. Well, there's no real big issues. Just, you know, sometimes you argue. Sometimes you don't get along. So, and sometimes you don't like to talk to each other at all. So, there's that, and they discuss that issue and they go over that as a family. So, again, like they say romantic comedy, it's more than that. And it's kind of cool to see her where she was in this medieval like TV show and now she's in this kind of role. It's really cool to see that.
She was a dragon?
The mother of dragons, yeah.
She was a mother of dragons, so she was a dragon. I mean, if you're the mother of a dragon, chances are you're a dragon, no?
No, she just like took care of the dragon, so it's like she's the mother, but
huh?
It's kind of how it works. You have to watch the show, unfortunately.
Nah, I'm not gonna watch that show or this movie. Forget it. Wah, wah.
Really? Allison wouldn't want to see this?
No.
Wow, that's too bad.
I want to go see that Kanye West IMAX movie. I think it's playing here. I'm gonna go see it. Jesus is King. Sounds like a Christmas movie, doesn't it?
I guess.
Yeah. I had Chick-fil-A yesterday. It was delicious.
Chicken, yeah.
You ever have Chick-fil-A?
I've heard about it. I haven't had it.
Man,
that's in the States, though.
Yeah. I was in America yesterday, and I had Chick-fil-A for the first time, and it was a pretty good chicken burger. Let me tell you. I liked it.
Okay. That's good to know.
Took Kanye West's recommendation. Number one with the lemonade. It was pretty good. I liked it. Thank you, Kanye.
Didn't go to Popeyes, no?
No, I went to Chick-fil-A, man. How much chicken am I supposed to eat, dude?
I'm not big on fried chicken that much, so.
So why do you want me to visit 2 fried chicken joints?
Well, I thought you were big on fried chicken.
Well, I'm going to have 1 chicken sandwich, man.
What?
Thanks for the movie review, John.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Full Gear, watch along tomorrow night during Full Gear. I'll be here, and Johnny will be here. Right, Johnny?
And maybe other people. Who knows?
Who else?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, my brother will be here.
Okay. No one crazy and drunk?
No.
Good.
He's banned.
Good.
He's been banned. See you later.